What's going on, guys? Antonio here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, and let's get into it. All right, so wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this, but I decided to take the plunge, and I watched Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It has been added to digital platforms less than a month after it debuted in the theaters. I know it's coming to HBO Max shortly as well. I have HBO Max, but it's on, like, if you want like on demand, you can watch it there. I decided to take a chance and watch it. Kind of torn about Shazam because Captain Marvel is, I prefer him over Superman. He's one of my favorite superheroes of all time. And I just, when I remember the first one, I was excited to see it when they announced it, and then they announced that Zachary Levi was going to be playing Captain Marvel Shazam, and I was a little torn. Big fan of Zachary Levi. Chuck is one of my favorite television shows. So if you've seen Chuck, that's matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing like a comprehensive, like I'll go through each episode. I think there's 90, 94, 93, 94 episodes of Chuck. And I was thinking about breaking those down and breaking them down season by season because I love Chuck, and there's rumblings that there's going to be a Chuck reunion special or something, a movie. I'd love to go through all the episodes of Chuck and and just talk about what I liked about it, what I didn't like, and all that kind of thing. Because I watched every episode of Chuck multiple times, but I didn't necessarily think that Zachary Levi was the right choice to play Captain Marvel. I think because of the comedic aspect of it, he does so much comedy. I kind of wanted them to do a more serious presentation of Captain Marvel, and not do all the jokes and everything. So I kind of knew where, just from watching different movies with Zach Levi in it, like what he did the Kurt Warner movie I watched with, what's it, Anna Paquin from True Blood. I watched that, and, she was Rogue in the X-Men movies. I watched that, and I mean, it's not a comedy, but I got to be honest, I didn't think the Kurt Warner movie was very good, and I don't want to blame that on Zachary Levi, though. I just think they didn't seem like they had a big budget, and it looked like it was one of those Lifetime Hallmark movies. So he did the best he could in it. That's all I can say on that. But let's actually talk about Fury of the Gods. Wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. I specifically did not go to the movie theater to watch it because I was like, if I'm gonna hate the movie, I'd rather watch it at home. I watched it at home. Guess what? I actually liked it. I thought it was good. And I see a lot of people online talking about how bad it is. I enjoyed the film. I got to be honest about that. I was like, I guess it'd be easy to just dunk on it and talk about all this and horrible. So I thought it was actually a good movie. They did go a little too heavy-handed on the comedy. I saw somebody on Twitter, and they were like, "Why is Billy Batson more mature than Shazam Captain Marvel?" It's like, why is Billy Batson? And it was like that when he's Billy Batson. He's just a normal teenager. He's cutting jokes up with his family and doing his thing, and then all of a sudden he goes Shazam, and Zachary Levi comes in, and it's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. All of a sudden he's doing all this crazy stuff, and it's like, whoa, the faces and all this, and I'm like, okay, he's a little over the top. Because here's the thing, love Zach Levi. I love Zach Levi. I like how he treats the fans. When he talks to the fans, he's very fan friendly. He had created what was it, Nerd HQ and all this. I mean, the dude, he's a beast. I don't want to. I even mild criticism of him, I don't want to even do that because I'm such a big fan of his. I like him, and but yeah, I did think he was a little too Daffy Duck in the portrayal of Captain Marvel. But the movie itself did not. I can't remember the young lady. She was in West Side Story. She's in this, and I was like, she's in this as Freddie's love interest. I liked her. Helen Mirren, and Lucy Liu. They're the other two daughters of Atlas. Um, when I heard that Helen Mirren was cast in it, and I love Helen Mirren. I've enjoyed her work. She's a brilliant actress. But here's the thing: Helen Mirren's 77 years old, and it just, and maybe this sounds ageist or whatever. I kind of thought they should have took, they're gonna have these female villains. They should have maybe went a little younger, something that the young men watching would enjoy a little. I'm just saying, because it was a little weird watching Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, and then you hear behind the scenes that Helen Mirren's trying to do some wrong stunts, and she ended up breaking her finger pretty bad, and then she didn't tell the director and the producers or whatever that she broke her finger because, hey, they got a 70-something-year-old woman hurting herself on their film. They probably would have been like, hey, maybe we should have hired a younger actress. But the thing is, but she's fine in it. I follow him on Twitter, Michael Gray. They put Michael Gray in the movie. He had a cameo, and you go on his Twitter right now. He's got like 7-8 tweets of himself on the set of Fury of the Gods. He's posing with Zachary Levi. Bless him. Here's it. I'm a big fan of Michael Gray. Michael Gray was the original Billy Batson on the Shazam TV series. I think it debuted in 1974. 1974. I was born, I think September. So September of 74. I was born in March of 75. I remember as a kid in Alabama, I was like 3-4 years old, and I was watching the Shazam television. That used to be one of my favorite things, and I think a lot of kids are missing that growing up now. They don't have Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, they still make cartoons, but they don't do it. When I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, me and my older brother, we would get up early in the morning and we watched the Smurfs and, different cartoon, He-Man, Thundercats, all these shows that would be on the weekends. I remember watching Dungeons and Dragons, Tarzan, there was so many, the Snorks, and we used to watch all that, Jim, Transformers. We watch all those cartoons, but there would be a show like Shazam on. What was it? The old Lone Ranger TV show. That show had been off the air for a few years, but they were showing that on Saturdays. That's how I started watching the old Lone Ranger television show. Him and Tonto, the live action show. They were showing reruns of that on Saturday afternoon, so I would watch that. But Shazam was a show like that where I would get up and watch it in the morning. And Michael Gray was Billy Batson, and God bless him. I mean, it was nice to see him because that's a good childhood memory of mine. But man, if you follow Michael Gray on Twitter, he even says in his bio that Shazam is his life. You know what I'm saying? He's always, when he goes to the cons, he puts the red shirt on. He dyes his hair. He's 71 now, so he's dyeing his hair to make sure his hair looks, the right color and all that. Keeps that big old coif up there. But a lot of those old guys that were on these shows in the 70s and 80s that had these like cult followings was a guy, Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica. He was hitting the cons pretty heavy. Dirk Benedict, who played Starbuck on Battlestar Galactica, the original, and he was face on the 18. He was hitting it real hard. A lot of times that's how these guys made money. I know George Takei said the same thing. He was going to these cons. He wasn't getting a lot of acting work, but because Star Trek was getting that cult fan following, he was able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year traveling around the world, staying in hotels and stuff because of the fans. So, and Michael Gray was doing that, and I know he was a florist. I saw he did an interview, and he had a flower shop in Los Angeles with him and his wife were running. and he was running his flower shop and hitting Comic Cons. That's where he was making his money, going out meeting the fans, taking pictures, and doing all that kind of stuff. So it was like I said, and he seemed very grateful that the people, the producers and directors and stuff of Shazam reached out and wanted to have him in there. And I thought one thing I really liked about when his scene came up in the movie, he actually called Zachary Levi Captain Marvel. That's one of the things that's really irritated me when I watched the Shazam movies, because of the so-called legal copyright stuff with the Captain Marvel Shazam character. That's why they shifted to just call him Shazam instead of calling him. He was always Captain Marvel. Shazam was the Wizard. So now the Wizard that was played by Jaimin Hunsu, they just call him the Wizard, and they were going around the whole movie. He don't have a superhero name. So until the end of the movie. So and then they finally give him the name Shazam, which, like I said, overall I enjoyed the film. I thought it was good. If I had gone to the movie theater to see it, I would not have been disappointed. Let me say that. But I stayed away because I had a feeling it was just going to be awful. The one thing I'm kind of sad about is it had 2 post-credit scenes. One of them had, was it James Gunn's wife? She's in the Peacemaker show. I can't remember her character's name, but she's in the first post-credit scene, and you see Zachary Levi acting like a 4-year-old with his zappy powers. And that's why I was like, he was a little over the top with when he was Captain Marvel. And then they had the second post-credit scene that set up Dr. Savannah again and Mr. Mind. So we had Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind, which, if you remember the first Shazam movie, Mr. Mind contacted Dr. Savannah at the end, and then, you're sitting there going, oh, okay, they're going to pay that off. And then we get the second post-credit scenes at the end of this, and Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind are talking, and it was clear that they were probably setting up something for the third movie. Does not look like we're going to get a third Shazam now, because the second one didn't do that well. I kind of feel heartbroken for Zach Levi, because Zachary Levi is such a nice guy. Like I said, treats the fans with respect and all this. I was really hoping this was going to be a good movie franchise for him. But like I said, doesn't look like it's already on digital after just like 3 weeks at the movie theater. So that's pretty quick. That tells me that Warner Brothers realizes that this thing doesn't have any legs. So they're just trying to get as much money out of it as possible. But if you saw Shazam: Fury of the Gods, I would very much love to hear what you guys think. Get in the comments. Let me know. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please check out my podcast at anchor.fm/Ikari Press, or just type in Ikari Press on your favorite streaming platform today.